It's another special edition of Litter Media Live, and today we're going to talk about a special speaker coming to Chillicothe with Native American heritage. Details in just a bit, but first, let's tell you about this. Litter Quality Propane, 92 years of serving propane users in southern and central Ohio. A reliable supply, reliable service, reliable people. One of the reliable people that we know is Terressa Reep, and she's here.
Thank you.
How about that?
Hi.
We have one thing we want to talk about first, but we're
Right.
going to talk about some other things later. So stick close to this program. First up, you have a gentleman by the name of Logan York.
That's correct.
Chillicothe.
That's right.
Why is he here, and what's he going to do?
Logan York is visiting us. He lives in southern Ohio, but he is an officer and citizen of the Miami tribe of Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And he is their tribal historic preservation officer. Mm-hmm. He, sorry.
Someone's trying to reach her right now.
Yes. He is visiting us to talk about the Miami tribe and their relationship to the Hopewell. For a long time, when I was a child, and you'd go out to Mound City, and the big thing was, and we don't know what happened to them. They just disappeared. They didn't really disappear. The ancestor or the descendants of the Hopewell are very much alive in the United States, and the Miami tribe is one of those. He represented the Miami tribes in Saudi Arabia in September when we became a World Heritage Site. He's a very interesting man. He's going to talk about his experience in Saudi Arabia, and he's also going to just share his insights. It's always interesting to talk to a modern Native American about their history, the impact that this World Heritage designation has had on them, and the importance of it. So this is not going to be a formal, everybody sit down and listen to Logan York. It's going to be just a reception. Mm-hmm. It'll be at Stevenson Center at OUC on June 5th. It's at 5 o'clock in the evening. We will be serving light refreshments. We have developed a partnership with OUC for these kinds of events. Mm-hmm. So it gives us a larger venue, a more comfortable venue, and without as many restrictions as you have, like if you meet on federal property. Right. So it's perfect for us to use, and with lots of parking at OU. Mm-hmm. So that reception is from 5 to 6:30. There'll be just a tiny introduction of Logan, and then it's going to be conversations. Mm-hmm. He likes to for people to just say to him, hey, what about this? And then he likes to share his perceptions. And he's been a long-time student of the Miami culture. From the time he was a child, he's gone to summer workshops and sessions. Oh, my gosh. I'm really sorry. I had to bring my phone because my notes are on there.
I know no one who is as member of so many different groups other than Terressa. It's amazing. And I can't imagine your phone on a regular basis because you are in touch with so many people.
I am, and I'm really sorry.
Forgive me, I didn't properly introduce Terressa. Oh. She's here representing the Friends of Hopewell.
Yes.
First.
Yeah, for this portion.
For this portion of the show. I like the Q&A session.
Right.
Sometimes you come into a presentation and it can kind of get a little lengthy. And maybe
right.
He's
going to be here.
This is not going to be that way.
No, he's going to be here for an hour and a half. Like I said, I'm going to have some food up there and water and iced tea, and just bring your questions. And from that, we're not going to all sit down in stadium seating with Logan on the stage.
Right.
We're all just going to be there mingling with him. And there'll be also that afternoon, Dr. Brett Ruby and Dr. Tim Everhart are two local archaeologists that are assigned to the Hopewell culture. They will be there with their summer stewardship members. So there'll be a lot of young budding archaeologists there. So there'll be a lot of people to talk to and to ask a lot of questions of.
We've heard so much about the Shawnee Nation
Right.
through Tecumseh and what the outdoor drama has done
Yes.
to help us learn there. But the Miami were also a part of this, as you
Absolutely.
mentioned, with the Hopewell. And it'll be interesting to hear another take.
Yes, yes, and that's one of the missions of the Hopewell Friends of Hopewell Culture. That's what we're trying to do. We have the ability. We raise funds, and then what we do with those funds is we reach out to people like Logan, and whenever we have a Native American speaker come, I need to say this: we ask them, and what is your stipend? What can we do for you? And I've never had anyone give me a number, and they always say, "Oh, but don't give it to me. Send that right into our tribal nation." So our donations go to the tribal nations, and so that's part of what we do. We want to make that connection. We're living here now. Their ancestors lived here 2,000 years ago. So if bringing them in to talk to us as we learn about and learn to celebrate our world heritage.
I know when Chief Glenna Wallace was
Yeah.
here several years ago, and then she was back for the inscription dedication
Yes.
and everything back in October, to see her in Saudi Arabia accepting this
Right.
inscription was pretty awesome. But to hear she as a representative of her tribe,
Right.
the same for Logan coming in
Yes.
and doing the same thing for us, it's just rather unique, because those of us who have grown up and lived in the Chillicothe area, we've always heard about the Hopewell,
Right.
but man, to see someone who is actually part of it.
Right. All of us went out to Mound City and rolled down the mounds and saw the cutaway burial, all of those things that we now realize. This was a very spiritual, ceremonial site. Mm-hmm. We really don't have indication that this was a big village or anything. So it was a ceremonial meeting place from literally all over North America. So it's a pretty special place. And I know, with my other hat in DAR, I do a lot of genealogy. And every time that I come up with somebody else that did something really cool, and I send emails to all my cousins, like, "Hey, we had this 8th great grandmother, and you know what she did?" And Native Americans don't have that. They can't get on the internet and find those birth certificates, and it's very, very interesting to be a part of them coming back to where their people were, and the way that they just feel about it, and the way they talk about it. And you mentioned Chief Glenna. I heard her do a presentation one afternoon about the Trail of Tears, which of course were her ancestors. And you just, oh my gosh, it leaves you almost breathless.
Yeah,
it
really does.
They have a very, very rich history to share, and you won't be sorry. Anytime that you have the opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with one of our Native American tribal citizens, you come away feeling very good.
Now, in the post here on Facebook, we have the email address where people can register.
Yes. Friends of Hopewell.
And that being said, it's very simple. Just click on that, and you can send in your registration.
Exactly. Just all you have to say is, "I want to come on June the 5th," and you will really quickly, I take all those emails, so you really quickly will get a little message back from me that says you're registered. See you there.
And she'll do it from her phone.
Yeah, because I got it right here.
Now, before we switch hats,
Okay.
you mentioned to me you have a summer solstice event going
Yes.
on also at Hopewell, and that is full right now, but you are building
Take
a waiting
list. We are building a waiting list. This is, Brett Ruby mentioned this to me probably a year ago, the 18.6 cycle. And of course, I had no clue. I said, what are you talking about? And then he went into a very elaborate description. And I said, well, I still don't know what you're talking about. Can you make this simple? Which he did. As many of you know, several of the mounds are in squares and circles. And the circles fit perfectly inside of the squares. And the square here and the squares in Newark, they're all perfectly aligned and they're all exactly the same size. So there's all of this geometry that just blows you away. But out at Hopeton, which is on Bridge Street, we always called it 23 North, but now it's Bridge Street. There was a ceremonial wall there, a square. And on the summer solstice, the sun is in its northernmost spot in the hemisphere, and the moon is in its most southern. And when they are in direct alignment diagonally across that square mound. That is the really simple version of all of this. Dr. Brett Ruby and Dr. Tim Everhart will be out there on, did you look it up? Was it the 21st?
June 21st.
June 21st, yeah. And it'll be late in the evening because we want it to be close to dark where we can see both the sun and the moon. And you literally will be able to stand there and know that those members of the Hopewell culture designed that mound around that alignment. And it only happens every 18.6 years. Mm-hmm. So like I said, we had to limit it to 50 because it's dark and we're in a small space and we want everyone to be able to hear what Brett and Tim are sharing with us. They're going to be explaining this phenomena to us and how the Hopewell culture used astrology and geometry to create all of the things that they did. So we have closed it at 52, but we are taking a wait list because we do know that you might have the best intentions June the 1st to be in some place June 21st. So we may have some openings for this. So at the very least, we will have a follow-up sometime in the near future after this where we'll have a bit of a lecture about it where Dr. Everhart and Dr. Ruby can share with us a little bit more about what this 18.6.
Yeah. Through the solar flares and the eclipse and everything, we have had these once-in-a-lifetime events happening. And a generation is normally measured by 40 years. So at 18.6, this happens twice in a generation.
Yeah. And we really didn't know about it. The technology and the research is, in the world of research, is pretty new. Yeah. So it's not something that 200 years ago people were going, hey, we're on the 18.6 cycle here. So it's going to be a fun event.
Yeah. Can we reach out the same email
same
address?
Same email address, yes. And
to be on the waiting list.
Do watch our Facebook, Friends of Hopewell Culture, and the Friends of Hopewell Culture Mound City Group Visitor Center on Facebook. We have lots of things planned for the summer. There are daily tours at 10 a.m., there are porch talks at 1 in the afternoon, and then there's going to be some events at Hopeton and Hopewell. So we're getting out into some of the other sites that are part of the World Heritage designation.
Now let me push in the clutch and we'll switch gears here.
Okay.
And let's put on your DAR hat.
Okay.
That's the Daughters of the American Revolution and Nathaniel Massey chapter here locally.
Yes.
You've got Liberty Camp coming at the end of July.
We do. Year number 6 of Liberty Camp. That'll be July 29th through August 2nd. This is one of our greatest events. We take 40 children, and it costs $25, and it's all 5 nights from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. They get a hot dog dinner. They make crafts. They play games. And they go to 3 educational sessions about colonial America and the American Revolution. And it's all hands-on, interactive, lots of people in period clothing. And we've never had a bad review. And the kids come back every year. If some of you out there have already been there 2 years, we've really pumped it up and made some changes with the oncoming of America 250 in 2026. This year we sat down and added some new stations, a couple of different crafts, and of course we really jazzed up our ship, the Dartmouth, for the Boston Tea Party last December. So it'll be there floating on its water and with its gas lights on the harbor. It's a pretty cool experience. So you get a T-shirt, you get a haversack. Kids walk away with a lot from it. And you can just, you can email me, because my email's out there in a lot of different places. It's just reepteressa@yahoo.com. And let me know if you're interested. I'll send registration forms right out. We have a full-time nurse on duty during camp. And we're going to do a field trip this year, which is something we've never done before. But I'm kind of going to jump ahead because I hope I get to come on some other time and really talk about this. But we are going to, the American Battlefield Trust, in cooperation with the National DAR, has put a traveling exhibit about the American Revolution.
Oh, really?
Yes, it has 12 of those big 14-foot banners and 4 interactive kiosks with computers. And Ed Kunzelman has graciously given us the gallery at 97 North Paint. It's where it'll all be set up, and that'll be July 15th through August 10th. So one of our events during Liberty Camp is we're going to take the children down there and do a guided, in-depth explanation and let them use the kiosk. And it's going to be open Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. It'll be closed Tuesday and Wednesday, but there'll be docents there for that month that it's here. Right. But the National DAR contributed $200,000 to that project, so that chapters like Nathaniel Massey, they ship it to us for free. We set it up, we box it up, and they ship it out again. So that's of no cost to anybody in the community. And Ed Kunzelman has been amazing with his cooperation. Every time I want to put something up somewhere, I just give him a call and say, hey, you got a storefront I can use? And he's been more than generous. And so anyway, that's a field trip for Liberty Camp.
Not everybody can go to Boston.
No.
Not everybody can go to Philadelphia.
Right.
Not everybody can go to Williamsburg. But you're bringing it here.
We're trying.
And this is truly our American history coming to life.
Yeah.
Right before the kids' eyes.
We had I say these guys are volunteers, and every time I say that, they look at me and they go, volunteer, ha. You don't let up until we might as well say yes. So they built, Joe Fort and Craig Uhrig built a replica of the Dartmouth. It was a ship that was in the Boston Harbor at the Boston Tea Party, December 16th of 1773. That it's 14 feet long and the mast is 10 feet high. The children can get on. We reenact the Boston Tea Party after they learn about it. And we've had the ship a couple of years, but last year, to get ready for this thing in December, we built Griffith's Wharf, where the ship was docked, and we have the little gas lanterns, and we have tape with the wharf sounds, and we have fake water, and it just to really try to give the kids a feel of what it must have been like to be in Boston on that big night that really was the first real act of aggression with the revolution. So we set that up December 6th, and we took it down December 17th at the Fellowship Hall at the Presbyterian Church. We had over 500 people, went on docent-led tours of that. So we're bringing it to camp.
Great.
So our campers will have that experience.
And the cool thing about the First Presbyterian Church, if you've never been there in Chillicothe, it's probably the most colonial-looking building that you'll find around
absolutely.
In this part of Ohio.
I was really shocked when the Old North Church in Boston has a steeple that's, the Presbyterian steeple is almost an exact replica. And the other thing that we do a lot of the campus outside, but there's a big sanctuary, but we also have a small chapel there that is a colonial chapel. And so the children go in there, and there's the debate between Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton over states' rights versus the strong national government. And we have 2 reenactors. I've heard those guys do that at least 4 times, and every time I come away with knowing more. And it also, that little chapel is very much representative of the Old South Meeting House in Boston, where the colonial people met and decided that, hey, let's get the tea out of the harbor. So it's a good experience for the kids. It's a lot of reenactment for them. And
I imagine there's some adults who would like to see it too.
there are. Actually, we have 40 kiddos that are campers, and it takes 42 volunteers during the week to pull it off. Yeah. So the kids are divided into groups of 10, and each group of 10 has 2 adult leaders that moves them from station to station and make sure that they all their needs are being met. And so all of their instruction is in really small groups. And
it sounds like Vacation Bible School for American history.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of kids, when you say, oh, American history, but there's a lot of kids that love it too.
Yes. And not enough of them are getting that information in school these days.
Right.
So
our curriculum has changed very drastically. They still learn a lot of important things about how to be a good citizen and responsibilities to our citizenship. But they really don't learn the fun stuff, the cool stuff and we have a cannon. Molly Pitcher is there, complete with her petticoat that the cannonball went through. I mean, we cook on this little camp stove that actually our reenactors are so amazing. And I said, I like to have a camp stove. So they got scrap metal, and they built one exactly as the colonial soldiers would have built one. Wow. So we got guns, we got all kinds of cool stuff. It's pretty neat.
You won't want to miss it, and it's only $25 a kid.
Yeah, and we only do that because if you don't put something up, it's easy to be a no-show. Yeah. And we have so many kids that like to sign up that we don't want to turn anybody away. Mm-hmm. And it's very secure. You have to sign your kids in, you have to sign your kids out. Like I said, we have 40 kids and 42 adults, so we got a good eye on them.
And of course, check the Daughters of the American Revolution Facebook page.
Yeah, you can we have a public Facebook page, and you can also go to Ross County Liberty Camp, and we have our own Facebook page just for camp.
Very good. Any other hats you want to put on?
Oh, not today. I got a gardening hat I got to get on later this afternoon.
Gotcha. I'm with you on that. Terressa Reep, thank you for sharing with us today. And again, if you want to learn more about World Heritage, you can contact the folks at Hopewell, but also the Friends of Hopewell.
Yes.
They're kind of like the cheerleaders.
Yes,
to make this all
we are.
Happen. So.
And I want to say just one more thing. The Nathaniel Massey chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution have the honor of recognizing Dan and Mike for the great work that Litter Media does for our community. And they will be at our DAR meeting on June the 5th to receive their award from us. So
thank you.
Give them a shout out because they're a great team.
We appreciate that. And the history part is we're old. So, but thank you. We were
Okay, well, thanks for having
very
me.
honored and humbled by
Gosh,
the mention. So
thank you for having us and sharing all of our events.
certainly. And thank you for watching as well. And thanks to Litter Quality Propane for making this segment possible here on Litter Media Live.